Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Read to Save. Yay. Okay, I'm always glad to be here. I'm happy to have you guys here also in this edition of Read to Save. So I've read from the book Show Up, Stand Out, Show Up for a while now, and we have a lot of gems in that book. Trust me. There's an acronym that Mr. Akinlami used to explain the concept in the book, the responsibilities of children, and he called it "I'm the smartest," right? So we've gone through many of the words, also letters that actually signify things in the acronym. But today, I just thought let's start from the very beginning. Mr. Akinlami telling his story and how things were before he began to learn these things that has shaped us today. So let's get into it. So it says, let's talk about me. This is a long but true story. Please grant me quiet audience. I want to share some private matters with you. Please promise me that our secret will be secret. Deal? Alright, let me confess to you quickly before you find out on your own. I was not the smartest when I was your age. In fact, I was the opposite. Looking back, it is very painful. I suffered for the consequences of not being the smartest. I only began to learn to be the smartest at the age of 27. Before that age, I was not aware of the existence of these universal laws of human conduct. Yet, they governed my life and paid me in my own coins of contribution to life. Sadly, I actually thought I was smart because I was on what we called the fast lane of life. I now doubt if it's really the fast lane or the first instance or setup lane. The truth is that by my childhood background, it would have been difficult for me to be the smartest. Let me tell you a bit about myself. My life is divided into 3 seasons. Season 1, which we'll be looking at today, age 0 to 13. I was born without any spoon in my mouth. Gold, silver, bronze, aluminium, copper, anyone at all, wood or even paper. I'm a twin, the first of 6 children. 4 boys and 2 girls. My father did not go past elementary education. He worked in paid employment. He earned a salary that was scarcely enough to give the family any extraordinary standard of living. Now let's go to the face me I face you days. Girl, loving this. The family lived in rented apartments, popularly called face me I face you. Some people say face me I slap you. It was a type of building where we shared and queued for everything: kitchen, toilet, bathroom. The available toilet was a pit latrine, an incubator for all kind of health hazards, like anything you want. That place can actually breed any sickness. Interesting. We also lived in apartments that had no toilet, where each family had a bucket where feces was deposited and taken to the refuse dump every other day. I'm like, are you saying he? Well, that's what Mr. Akinlami went through. Water, sanitation, and hygiene was not part of the equation in the slum. We had compulsory fellowship with bugs, mosquitoes, roaches, rodents, and reptiles. Was it a zoo? Okay, no, that's serious, right? Like what Mr. Akinlami went through. My parents nearly lost me to cholera at the age of 11. Wow. When we arrived at the hospital, the doctor told my parents that if they had come 5 minutes later, I would have been history. We never had the luxury of drinking water from the refrigerator. We had a black and white television set before which the entire family of 8 gathered in the evening. If or when the National Electrical Power Authority, which is now I think IKDC or so, if they thought to smile on us with electricity, I went to public primary and secondary schools in Ado-Ekiti and Ondo State with its attendant, human and infrastructural limitations. I joined other children to trek to school. I never saw any of the pupils chauffeur-driven to school. I never saw any of my teachers drove a car to school. I think the first time I saw a car was in St. Joseph's College, where our principal, Reverend Father Adegoke, drove a Peugeot 504. I still remember the car that I cannot forget. The color was white. Childhood, my share. Besides, I was a victim of child abuse. My childhood was a bountiful basket of abuses. For me, childhood was not fun. I do not look back at childhood with any nostalgia. I guess that was why I ran away from home at age 12 to become a bus conductor. Wow. That was the year I gained admission to secondary school. I considered the glory of proceeding to secondary school, but it was not strong enough to ease the pain of abuse at home. Wow, so Akinlami left home. Interesting. Let me pause here for a while and say to you that when I talk about abuse as a child, I do not blame my parents or submit that they were wicked. No, like many of our parents, my parents were not wicked. They had 6 of us and they loved us with all they had. My parents were only ignorant of what it meant to bring up children. The truth is that parenting is not easy, but it can be learned. It answers to skills. Wow, don't just find this story interesting. Okay, so that's how far we're to go today. Wow, very interesting. I feel like continuing. Should I? No, next week continue in the story of how Mr. Akinlami moved from childhood. What went on again in childhood? He said there was abuse, 4 kinds. Actually, we look at the details of that, how it happened. And of course, I'm sure that there's something to always learn from these stories. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was good to have you. See you guys next week. But don't forget to join the S.A.F.E Club. S.A.F.E Club, will put a link in the caption. Is a place where we talk, discuss, have fun. We had a Valentine's special last week. The video is still up on the channel. Go check. I don't want to spill the beans. I don't want to talk too much about it. So you're like, oh, okay, I think I know about it already. No, just go check and enjoy for yourself. Just go check and enjoy for yourself. Thank you so much. Have an inspired day. Thank you so much. Enjoy yourself. Bye.